Soundstripe.
One of the most incredible feelings in my life is when I'm talking to a client, and after a moment of silence, I say, I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Or, oh my gosh, no, this is not, I'm better than that. Why have I been doing that to myself?
It's so subconscious, right? The negative self-talk. I think, and
It
in some
is.
levels, we're just spewing it and not even realizing.
Well,
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
And that's because it's not visible and it's not obvious. I so admire your courage, especially at such a young age, to face what you were afraid of. No more pockets. That's such a beautiful act of self-acceptance. The pain that a lot of people feel is what they picked up along the way, thinking that, oh, I'm not good enough because this didn't happen. They assign meaning to situations
Yeah.
that explain it in a way that they can live with, but those explanations become beliefs that guide their lives. And so until they have someone to talk to, or unless they spend a lot of time journaling and meditating or availing themselves of therapy, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way, if you feel that you need someone to talk to, coaching can help you to an extent, but if you're in deep pain, therapy is really the way to go. And I urge you, no matter what other people might think of it, I know there's still some stigma attached to seeking therapy, which is a huge sin of culture, in my opinion. Don't ever hesitate to seek the help you need. It can make all the difference in the quality of your life. Coaching, and particularly my niche of coaching, is emotional wellness. So I try to teach people what's coming out of the research from positive psychology. It studies what's right with us. It studies what makes people who feel a deep sense of satisfaction and meaning in their life, what do they all have in common? What do they share? How do they make choices? How do they face difficulties? And so we have a huge body of information now, even though this branch of psychology really only took off in 1998 when Martin Seligman became president of the APA. It has its roots back in the early days of Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers, where the focus was on people meeting their needs and having a compulsion to grow toward a point that Maslow called self-actualization, which is really, in my mind, becoming whole, looking at your entire self and being in alignment, living in alignment with that.
Yeah.
And from that is where purpose comes and meaning comes. So positive psychology has given us a lot of tools people can use to help them, especially people like me who endure recurring depressions. When I feel one coming on, there are practices that sometimes reverse it and prevent a full-blown event.
Now, not to interrupt, but I'm wondering, were you exposed to positive psychology when you were young, or is this something that you came to on your own as you had gotten a little bit older?
I did read Maslow and Rogers when I snuck into the adult section of the library as a teenager.
Story. Tell them just real quick. That was so funny.
I didn't know the books were sectioned according to level of difficulty. I thought that, the adult section was information that children weren't allowed to know yet. So I decided on this covert operation, and I was slinking through the stacks and, peeking to make sure no librarians were watching, and found the psychology section. And I would just sit there for hours after school reading book after book. And it was like I'd found the Holy Grail. There was information out there that explained the things that I was seeing in the home I lived in.
Yeah, yes, I know.
It was amazing.
Would you have that experience when you come across? So I'm huge into gratitude, the power of gratitude, also the law of attraction. So when I first saw The Secret and then led back to the history of the books that go on to explain it all, I'm just adding this because this is a No More Pockets thing too, was the side of me that I have revealed, and people are like, oh, here we go again. But it was like reading. It was a truth I knew.
Sure.
It was a truth I knew about. There's some correlation in how we think and how we speak and how we act and what comes into our life. So,
There
and when you
absolutely is.
see these books that are speaking to you, I just think it's a remarkable moment when you start to realize or read these truths in books and how it can change your life.
Yes, they totally change you when you find it written in a language that really resonates with you. And science happens to resonate with me. Spirituality does with you. Everyone has their own way of hearing what they need to hear when they're ready to hear it. But the point in both our perspectives is exactly the same. What you focus on is what you bring into your life.
Yeah.
And it's true in
So
psychology as much as it is in the spiritual world.
And that's why I'm so happy, because now that the science, through positive psychology and neuroscience and neuroplasticity, the science has now come into the mainstream, so that I think people they're more willing to open up to it now, since there's the scientific data to support it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just happen to prefer science because I just love the theories. The people who study the human spirit, the psyche, don't have any more answers than an artist does facing a blank canvas.
Yeah.
They paint pictures as they develop these theories, and research either supports or discredits it. And they may have to start from scratch, but they know they're onto something.
They know.
So they're continually building and building. And, if scientists, granted, they're incredibly educated, but people like you and me are incredibly intelligent too. And we've lived some things. And we may have some theories that are also useful. So I love being able to write and, publish on my blog or on my Facebook page about little pieces of life where some scientific truth played out.
Yes.
And this is what it looks like in real life. It's accessible to people who don't really care about the scientific literature, but they want to know, how do I feel better? How do I make it better? How do I feel like I matter?
Yes. It's amazing the power of connecting with people too. And when you said earlier, I just want to throw this out there, and I'm not being self-deprecating or trying to pass this off, but when you said about the courage to live my story with no more pockets, first of all, I found with the physical, with my hand, the truth always was going to come out. I could only hide it for so long. And so I just got tired of the worry every night about what clothes am I going to wear? How am I going to hide it? And then the knowing eventually, I was always feeling like a fraud. Like, this is all eventually going to come out, and then it's going to be uncomfortable. And then, so I look at it with the physical. It was a little bit easier, because you can't, as people have come to me over the years to share their story, a lot of it is internal, that they can carry with them a lot longer. And they can put on the mask of a happy face and say, no, everything's okay. And I think I'm grateful mine happened at a young age, because there wasn't a whole lot of strong beliefs and stuff really set down. Yes, I can still feel uncomfortable and very vulnerable at times, but I look at the people who have carried their thing with them for years and years, because it was something they carried through experiences or thoughts or beliefs about themselves that really, who are now willing to unbury and uncover and reveal years and years of stuff, right? So I think I kind of had it a little bit easier. Thank you for what you said, but it was, it was a little bit easier, I think.
I hope you can embrace the importance of that decision you made. Even though it's physical and more visible, it still takes courage to accept the parts of us that we don't think are exactly as they should be.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can't compare one person's pain to another. It's all valid, no matter what it comes from, whether it's a physical or, a cognitive, a physiological, a biological problem.
Right.
Pain is pain, and everyone should have the opportunity to become pain-free, to find ways to make their life productive so that they can give to future generations the way you and I are.
I love it. That's so beautiful. Dawn, before we go, share with people where they can find you if they want to reach out to you or more information on what you do.
Oh, absolutely. So I have a website at www.selfpoweredchange, that's all one word, .com. And I also have a Facebook page, and that is also Self-Powered Change. And I gotta warn you, my website is under redesign right now. I've gotten some help, but technology is not my big thing. So there are some pages that are not quite working properly, but I just try to give a little bit of inspiration through the website and an opportunity for people to schedule time, to talk with me, just to see if this is something that might be useful in their lifetime.
So all your contact information is on those pages also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Dawn, thank you so much. I am so
thank
grateful
you,
for
Laura.
these opportunities that I've been getting through Corey, but you being willing to come on and share. It feels good. It's like, I feel like this is what we are really meant to do. I found that when we share like this and we're willing to open up, it's when, to me, real human connection happens. So thanks again.
Oh, thanks for having me.
For your time. I appreciate it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks so much. So for those of you who joined us here today, if you enjoyed these videos and you'd like to see more, please feel free to give the videos a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Tap the bell for further notifications as we continue with these interviews. And again, have a wonderful day. Thank you.